They had watched stars being born and dying for longer than memory could hold. The oldest civilization in the galaxy lived inside quiet cities of light far from young worlds. They studied life with calm minds and long patience. Nothing surprised them anymore except one small blue planet called Earth. Earth was marked differently in their archives. No trade routes crossed it. No ships passed near it. No explorers were allowed to land there. For millions of years, the rule never changed. Avoid Earth. The reason was not written clearly. Only warnings remained. Symbols of danger. Notes of fear. And silence where answers should be. The elders gathered in a vast chamber made of crystal and energy. Their forms were tall and calm. Their eyes carried the weight of ages. One elder spoke slowly. Earth is active again. Human signals grow louder. They're close to reaching the stars. Another elder replied, We must continue to watch, but never touch. The third elder stayed silent longer than the rest. Finally, he said, It is not the humans that frighten us. Long ago, they had first seen Earth. Humans were young. Their cities were small. Their tools were simple. But even then, something else was there. The Watchers recorded strange patterns. Movements that did not match human behavior. Thought waves that did not belong to any known species. It walked among humans. It lived beside them. And it did not age. The civilization tried to understand it. Their scanners failed. Their probes vanished. Every attempt to look closer ended the same way. Systems went dark. Data erased. Fear spread. One watcher remembered the first warning. A ship had gone too close to Earth. Its crew sent one message before silence. Do not come closer, it sees us. Since that day, Earth became forbidden. Now time had passed. Humans had grown. They fought wars. They built machines. They reached for the sky. Yet the presence remained. The Watchers observed human history. They saw pain and love, destruction and hope. Humans were fragile, but they survived everything. What confused the elders most was this. Whenever humanity faced extinction, something changed. Asteroids shifted their path. Plagues weakened before total collapse. Nuclear wars stopped before the final end. Each time disaster came close, it quietly moved away. The Watchers did not believe in chance. One young observer asked the elders, What if the thing among them protects them? The chamber filled with silence. An elder answered, Or what if it is protecting itself? Records showed the inhuman presence reacting when outside forces watched Earth too closely. Ships that lingered too long failed. Signals turned into noise. Entire fleets lost direction. Earth was not guarded by weapons. It was guarded by attention. The elders feared that presence was older than them, older than the galaxy itself, something that chose to hide among humans. Why humans? That question haunted them. The Watchers noticed how humans changed those around them. They formed bonds easily. They trusted. They fought. They forgave. Perhaps that made them useful. Perhaps that made them invisible. As humanity moved closer to space, the elders faced a truth they had avoided. One day humans would leave Earth, and the thing would go with them. The oldest civilization did not fear humanity. They feared what walked beside humanity. An elder closed the meeting with final words. We will continue to watch. We will not interfere. And we will pray that when humans reach us, it will not be following. Far away on Earth, a human child looked up at the night sky. Stars shined softly. The galaxy watched in silence. They watched Earth more closely now. The oldest civilization increased their observation without breaking their ancient rule. No ship crossed the invisible line. Only distant eyes and silent listening. From the dark edges of space, they saw humanity changing faster than expected. Cities grew tall. Machines learned. Signals filled the sky. Humans spoke to the stars without knowing who listened. The Watchers studied human leaders, artists, soldiers, and children. They mapped every emotion. Fear, joy, anger, hope. Humans were loud inside their minds. Easy to read. Yet something among them stayed silent. That silence frightened the elders. One observer focused on crowded places. Market street, schools. Millions of humans moving together. Among them, scans detected a gap. a space where data should exist but did not. It walked with humans. It laughed like them. It aged like them. Yet it left no trace. Whenever a watcher tried to lock onto it, the signal slipped away, as if it knew when it was being seen. The elders called it the shadow among light. Ancient records were opened again, files untouched for millions of years, stories older than stars. They spoke of beings who hid inside younger species, beings who waited. One elder remembered a forgotten line. When the guardian wakes, the galaxy will know fear. No one knew what the guardian was guarding. On Earth, humans launched their first deep space probes, metal eyes leaving the solar system. The watchers felt tension ripple through their kind. Movement always brought attention. One probe sent back strange data, a soft signal not from space but from Earth itself. The signal vanished moments later. The shadow had noticed. The watchers observed a human disaster unfold. A massive storm stronger than any before. Cities should have fallen. Millions should have died. But something changed. The storm shifted. Wind slowed. Water pulled back. Destruction softened. Humans called it luck. The watchers did not. They replayed the moment again and again. Right before the storm weakened, the silent gap moved across the planet. It was choosing. Another observer saw something stranger. A human soldier wounded on a battlefield. Life fading. Pain heavy. The shadow stood nearby unseen. Time slowed around it. The soldier survived against every rule. The elders debated in secret chambers. Is it a protector? Is it a parasite? Is it a prisoner? Answers never came. Fear grew when the watchers noticed a pattern. The shadow appeared more often near human children. Not touching, only watching. Children who later became leaders, thinkers, explorers. Humans inspired it, or it shaped them. A forbidden thought spread among the elders. What if humanity was never alone? What if humans were never meant to be alone? The watchers remembered another ancient warning. Never disturb the chosen cradle. Earth was a cradle. As humans prepared missions beyond their moon, the shadow grew restless. Its movements increased. Its silence grew heavier. Ships near Earth experienced strange failures. Not attacks, just gentle redirection. Lost paths, quiet warnings. The galaxy learned without being told. Stay away. One elder finally spoke what others feared. If humans leave, Earth the shadow will leave with them. Another replied, then the galaxy will meet it. The watchers wondered if humanity was a shield or a key. On Earth, a scientist stared at a screen. Numbers changed without cause. Systems corrected themselves, as if guided by unseen hands. He felt watched, then safe. Far beyond the stars, the oldest civilization recorded one final note for this cycle. Earth is not developing alone. Humanity is being prepared. Prepared for what no one knew. The shadow remained among them, silent, patient, watching, and the galaxy held its breath. The elders could no longer pretend distance was enough. The shadow among humans was changing. Its silence was becoming heavier, its movements more deliberate. Watchers noticed that it no longer reacted only to danger. Now it reacted to curiosity. When humans searched the universe with questions, the shadow moved closer. When humans dreamed of reaching beyond their world, it lingered near them. It was learning with them. Ancient observers felt something they had not felt in ages. Unease. Deep in their memory vaults, the oldest civilization uncovered a truth buried by fear. Long before humans existed, the galaxy had known a war not of weapons, but of minds. Beings beyond time had fought over growth and control. Some chose to rule. Others chose to hide. The ones who hid became legends, called walkers, called sleepers, called inhuman guardians. The shadow matched every description. It could not create life, so it followed life. It could not feel like humans, so it learned from them. The elders realized the shadow was not trapped on Earth. It had chosen Earth. Humans were not hosts. They were teachers. This truth terrified them more than any invasion. The Watchers focused on a single human city. Millions lived there. Noise, light, movement. The shadow walked freely unseen. It entered hospitals, schools, homes. Never touching, only observing. Yet when danger rose, it intervened softly. A car slowed before impact. A fire changed direction. A building weakened but did not fall. Small changes. Invisible choices. The elders argued. If it protects them, why hide? If it hides, why protect? One ancient voice answered, because it is not finished learning. The watchers then saw something new. The shadow began to speak. Not with sound, with intention. Humans who stood near it felt courage. Ideas formed faster. Fear weakened. Leaders emerged. Not cruel rulers, but unifiers. The shadow was shaping outcomes, not events. This meant something far worse. It was preparing humanity. Records warned that when a sleeper finishes learning, it chooses a form. And when it chooses a form, it chooses a side. The galaxy had never survived a choice. Panic spread quietly among the oldest civilization. They sent warnings through silent channels. Do not provoke Earth. Do not study too closely. Do not interfere. Some younger civilizations ignored the warnings. One fleet approached the solar system slowly. Curious, arrogant, confident. Before reaching the outer edge, their navigation failed. Not violently, gently. Ships drifted. Crews slept. Time felt wrong. When the fleet returned home, they could not explain what happened. Only one phrase repeated in their logs. We were noticed. The shadow had looked up. On Earth, humans took another step forward. They planned long journeys. New engines. New homes. The shadow stayed close. The elders realized the final truth. Humanity was the safest mask in the galaxy. No one feared humans. They were seen as young, loud, fragile. Perfect cover. The shadow had hidden in plain sight behind human chaos. As centuries passed faster in human time, the watchers felt the pressure of an ending. Either the shadow would remain hidden forever, or humanity would carry it into the stars. One elder asked the question none wanted to answer. What happens when the shadow no longer needs us? Silence followed. Because the answer was clear, humanity would no longer be watched. Humanity would be followed. Far away on Earth, a human stood alone at night, thinking about the future, feeling strong without knowing why. Above them, unseen, the shadow stood still, listening, learning, waiting. The galaxy trembled without sound. Part 3 ends here. The rule had existed longer than memory. Never go to Earth. Never cross the silent line. Never allow direct contact. Yet rules weaken when curiosity grows. Among the oldest civilization, there was one observer who questioned silence. He was younger than the elders, but older than most stars. He believed fear was not wisdom. While others watched from far away, he prepared a single ship. Small, quiet, unarmed. Designed not to disturb. He told no one. The ship slipped through dark space. Moving slow, hiding its signal, drifting toward the forbidden world. As he crossed the invisible line, something changed. Not alarms, not weapons, just a feeling. As if the universe had noticed and breathed. Earth filled the viewing screen. Blue, white, alive. Loud with signals. Chaotic, beautiful. Humans moved below unaware. Millions of lives. Millions of stories. The observer felt something new. Pressure. Not physical. Not mental. Something deeper. The shadow was aware. He lowered the ship into the atmosphere. Clouds parted. Storms bent gently away. The ship landed unseen in a quiet place. He stepped onto Earth for the first time. Gravity felt heavy. Air felt thick. Then everything went still. Sound faded. Motion slowed. Even his thoughts stretched thin. The shadow stood before him. It had no fixed shape, no clear face. It looked human only because the mind needed it. The observer tried to speak. No words came. The shadow did not attack, did not threaten. It watched. Inside, the observer memories surfaced. Not forced, shared. He saw the galaxy before stars. Before time learned to move forward. He saw beings like the shadow walking freely, shaping reality. Then fear, war, destruction beyond measure. The sleepers had chosen to hide, to learn, to wait. The shadow showed him Earth not as a planet, but as a classroom. Humans were lessons. Their pain, their love, their courage, their failure. All valuable. The observer understood then. Humans were not protected. They were studied, but not with cruelty, with hope. The shadow wanted to become something new. Not a ruler, not a destroyer, a guide. But guides must choose carefully. The observer felt the weight of a choice approaching. If the shadow finished learning, it would leave. And when it left, the galaxy would change forever. The shadow allowed time to flow again. Sound returned. Wind moved. Life continued. The observer fell to his knees. He asked one question inside his mind. Why show me this? The answer came without words. Because you broke the rule, and those who break rules must carry truth. The observer returned to his ship, shaken, changed. The shadow did not stop him. As the ship lifted into space, systems failed and recovered as if tested. Aloud, the moment he crossed the silent line, the pressure vanished. Back among his civilization, the observer sent one message before sealing his memory. Earth is not forbidden. Earth is chosen. Then he erased the rest. The elders sensed something wrong. Records changed. Patterns shifted. Someone had gone to Earth. Fear turned into urgency. They searched for answers. But the observer remembered nothing. Only a deep sadness. The shadow had taken something. Not information, but certainty. On Earth, the shadow returned to the crowd, to streets and homes, to quiet watching. Humans felt no change. Yet something had begun. The galaxy had been seen, and the shadow had been understood. Now the waiting was different. No longer patient, but deliberate. Part 4 ends here. The oldest civilization felt the shift even without proof. Something had changed around Earth. Not louder, not brighter, but heavier. Their long silence turned uneasy. The observer who broke the rule walked among them. Present, alive, yet empty. He remembered Earth, but not why it mattered. The elders questioned him gently, then firmly, then desperately. He had no answers, only a feeling that something precious had been taken and replaced with fear. Records were checked again. Old warnings resurfaced. Patterns aligned. The shadow was no longer only watching. It was preparing. Watchers noticed its movements increase. Not sudden, not rushed, but focused. It stayed closer to humans who dreamed of the future. Engineers, thinkers, explorers. Those who looked up instead of down. Human technology began to change. Small improvements, cleaner energy, stronger materials, ideas that arrived too early. Humans believed it was their brilliance. The Watchers knew better. The shadow was guiding, not controlling, suggesting, not forcing. That made it far more dangerous. Ancient texts spoke again. When a sleeper begins to guide the child species, the trial is near. No one knew what the trial meant. Some elders believed the shadow would leave humanity behind. Others feared it would use humanity as a vessel. Both outcomes terrified them. The Watchers observed a human mission beyond their system. The first of its kind. Fragile, hopeful. The ship should have failed, but it did not. Radiation bent. Systems corrected. Paths opened. The shadow traveled with them unseen. This was new. It had never left Earth before. The elders realized the truth too late. The shadow was testing movement, testing how far it could go without being noticed. The galaxy began to react. Civilizations near human space felt unease. Dreams changed. Stars felt closer. Time felt thin. Some species avoided humans instinctively. Others felt drawn to them. Fear and curiosity spread together. One elder spoke what others avoided. If the shadow finishes learning among humans, it will no longer need to hide. Another replied, and it will no longer be gentle. The observers searched for weakness, something to stop it. There was none. The shadow did not fight. It did not threaten. It simply existed. An existence shaped reality. Humans continued to grow. They formed alliances, ended old wars, looked outward together. The shadow encouraged unity, because unity created strength. Strength created survival. Survival created reach. The elders finally understood the greatest danger. The shadow was not preparing for war. It was preparing humanity to survive one. A war that had not yet begun. Ancient memory returned. The war beyond time. The one that shattered reality. The shadow had not chosen a side yet. It was building one. The realization crushed the elders. They had feared the shadow, but they had ignored the enemy it feared. Something older, hungrier, waiting beyond known space. The shadow had hidden because it was not ready. Now, it was almost ready. Humans unknowingly became part of something far larger. Not soldiers, not weapons, but partners. The Watchers detected a signal beyond the edge of the galaxy. Faint, ancient, awakening. The same signal that once forced the sleepers to hide. The shadow felt it too. It stopped watching and began planning. Humans felt it as inspiration, urgency, a push forward. No voice, no command, just purpose. The elders faced a final choice. Warn the galaxy, or stay silent. Warning might attract attention. Silence might doom them all. They chose silence, because if the shadow learned of their fear, it might leave humanity behind. And if that happened, the galaxy would stand alone. On Earth, a human child asked a simple question. Why do I feel like something big is coming? No answer came, only a calm certainty. They would not face it alone. The galaxy entered a quiet age. Not peace, not calm, but waiting. The oldest civilization watched the stars with a new kind of fear. Not fear of destruction, but fear of being unprepared. The signal beyond the edge of space grew clearer. Slow, steady, inevitable. It was not moving closer. Space itself was moving toward it. Ancient beings recognized the pattern. The enemy beyond time was waking. Long ago, it had consumed civilizations that stood alone. Worlds that believed themselves strong. Minds that believed themselves eternal. This time was different. Because humanity existed, humans spread slowly into space. Small colonies, fragile ships, bold hearts. They laughed. They argued. They helped strangers. They did not know they were being shaped. The shadow stayed with them. Closer now, no longer hiding completely. Not visible, but present. When humans faced fear, they felt courage. When they failed, they tried again. When they lost hope, something lifted them. The shadow had finished learning. It had chosen a form. Not flesh, not energy, but connection. It bound itself to humanity. Not as a ruler, not as a god, but as a partner. The elders felt the moment it happened. A shift across reality. As if a choice had been locked. Earth was no longer a cradle. It was a beginning. The signal beyond space responded. It turned its attention inward. The galaxy trembled. Civilizations sensed the coming storm. Some hid, some prayed, some prepared weapons. None of it would matter. The shadow gathered humanity quietly. Not in one place, but in purpose. Humans began to cooperate beyond reason, sharing knowledge, resources, dreams. Technology advanced not through force, but through unity. The shadow guided gently, never commanding, only aligning. When the first encounter happened, it was brief. A distortion, a silence, a disappearance of stars. Humans felt fear, but did not break. The shadow stood with them. The enemy beyond time pushed into reality. Hungry, endless. It had never faced a species like humans. Unpredictable, emotional, adaptive, and never one bonded to a sleeper. The battle was not fought with weapons, but with will. Space bent, time resisted, reality held. The shadow did not destroy the enemy. It stopped it, contained it. Human minds anchored the shadow. Their chaos became strength. Their diversity became balance. The enemy could not understand them, could not consume them. It faded, trapped, silent once more. The galaxy survived. The oldest civilization watched in awe, realizing they had misjudged everything. Humans were not protected because they were weak. They were chosen because they were strong in ways ancient beings were not. The shadow released part of itself, remaining among humans. Forever bound, not above them, not behind them, with them. Humanity looked at the stars without fear now, not knowing the full truth, but feeling safe. The elders recorded their final entry. Earth was never avoided because of danger. Earth was avoided because it carried hope. Far away, a human stood on a new world. watching a sunrise, feeling a calm presence beside them. The shadow watched too, no longer waiting. The galaxy moved forward together, and for the first time, nothing walked alone.